Yo, what's goody? What's goody? Latrell in a hoodie, and welcome to another episode of the Brother Next Door podcast, where we talk about finance, personal development, and skills to get you further in life through actionable steps and my own personal experiences. In this episode, I'm going to give y'all some resources, some financial literacy resources that I personally use, that I have used, that I've possibly used once, but it was very valuable. I'm gonna give you the resources that I use. I'm not a financial advisor, but these resources have contributed to where I am now, as far as credit score wise, as far as budgeting wise, as far as investing and all that stuff in between. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna give y'all some YouTube channels slash podcasts, as well as some books that have impacted my journey and hopefully will possibly impact your journey as you get along this financial literacy journey. So let's get started. First YouTube channel I would go with is alux.com. They are more on the side of millionaire, billionaire, how to achieve the big yachts and all that stuff, but they do have a lot of videos on basic financial topics. So definitely utilize them as if you want to learn, but also utilize them if you want to get inspired, because they have a lot of videos on how much would it cost to I don't know, charter yacht for a week, or how much would it cost to charter a plane, and all these different cool things. So if you aspire to be the top of the top, that channel's for you. If you aspire to, hey, I'm just getting started, I want to know some basics, that channel also has videos on basic financial topics. Next, MIT Open Courseware. Now MIT, they came through with that YouTube channel, because not only are they talking about, they only have a few videos, but they also literally put a whole bunch of other videos about from MIT courses. And so they got a micro and a macroeconomics course. Like I said, they got a couple videos on finance, and a whole bunch of other courses that they recorded during the school year and decided to post on YouTube. So if you ever wanted to go to MIT, or you ever wanted to know what that experience is like, now you have that opportunity by going to YouTube, MIT Open Courseware. So check them out. Dave Ramsey. Now he's a lot more conservative when it comes to credit cards, and or well, he's anti credit cards and all that stuff, which is great. That's definitely a way to go about it. But I feel like he's a great resource for people just starting out, because you don't need a credit card just starting out. You don't need to do all that. They now have debit cards where you can build your credit and different stuff like that, or on your putting your rent on there to show that you can make on-time payments. So there's multiple different ways to show that you're building credit without using a credit card. And so I'm not mad at him on that and hating credit cards. But Dave Ramsey is a great resource. He has a show that he does every day, and a lot of people get on, tell their stories, tell how they paid off debt. So it's an opportunity to get inspired by other regular people that are just trying to get out of debt, that are just trying to do right. And so it's not, so they do have a lot of, not a lot, but they do have a couple of people that are, oh, I made, $100,000 every month. Like they're sprinkled in there, but majority of the people that call into the show, just regular people trying to get out of debt, asking questions that most people don't know the answer to. And so I believe that's a great resource to get inspired by other people that have gone through his program and become debt free, and are able to celebrate on that show. but it's also an opportunity for you to learn basic financial ideas and basic financial concepts. Next up is the Graham Stephan Show. So with Graham, he became a millionaire off of real estate. And what he does, he's more of a reaction YouTuber now. And so what he'll do is he'll go check out mainly Make It Money and go watch those videos, see how people are spending their finances and give his 2 cents on how people are spending their finances and, compare it to how he's spending his. And he's very frugal, very humble guy, regardless of how much money he does have. He does have like one nice car, Ford something. But other than that, very frugal, very down to earth. And I definitely resonate with his content. So I think he's definitely worth checking out and, getting some financial ideas from him. And then last but not least, on the YouTube side would be slash podcasting side would be The Table with A.O. Anthony O'Neill. One of the first books I read completely through in my life was by him. It's basically like a graduation guide to transitioning from high school to college. And so he just gave a few tips on, not going into debt, budgeting, all these different things, just, trying to get us set up in life. And that's aligns up very well with the concept of this podcast of going from college or going from parents' house or going from whatever, to adulthood, to paying for your own stuff, to, starting a family. And so I really enjoyed that book because it definitely gave me insight on, okay, I don't need to go into all this, that there are different ways to maneuver without having to pay all this debt. And so that's I don't think I have the book on the list, but I'll definitely put that in the show notes because that was definitely a great book that I did not put in here. So we gonna add that to the list. But Ayo, he talks a lot about finance. That's what his channel's all about. He talks from the foundations of finance all the way to having millionaires talk about their story and how they got to where they're at. He started off at Dave Ramsey and then moved off and did his own thing. And I've been rocking with him ever since. I was rocking with him while he was with Dave Ramsey and on their team, and I'm still rocking with him even more now because the information is more tailored towards me. And so definitely rock with AO. So check out his content. Like I said, talks from entrepreneurs, talks from people working 9 to 5s, talks with people with 9 to 5s, talks with people doing the entrepreneurial thing, talks with people who were aggressive with paying off their debt. And that's what really motivated me, was seeing those type of videos of people, couples, not even just individuals, but couples coming together and saying, you know what, enough is enough. Let's go ahead and take care of this debt. And so that really resonated with me and really wanted me to focus on, okay, let me get my finances straight. That way, once, the significant other of my life comes into my life, we rocking and rolling. We good. We on the same page. We know what we want out of life. We know what we want financially. And so we're on the same page about that. And so, look, your partner plays a big role in your life. Don't sleep on it. Don't just look at beauty. Don't just look at, what she got back there. Don't look at what she got up there. Focus on, where her mindset's at as well. Mainly focus on where the mindset's at, because that eye candy, it's gonna start to fade. No cap, it's gonna start to fade. So, but we not talking about that right now. Let's get back on topic. Books. I got a couple books for y'all. Pretty easy reads. Like I said, I started reading my freshman year going into college, and that was that Anthony O'Neill book. Like I hated reading. I used the little summary websites all throughout high school. I just did not like reading. But it just took a financial book for me to actually get through my first book, and then after that, I got a couple of books with me. This was the next book I read, and so that's really what got the ball rolling with me just reading books in general. And then I got into personal development books and all that good stuff. But books, do your best. Do your best to read books. If you don't have a lot of time, start with a page. Literally, I started with a page. I started with a page, then I went to 5 pages, then I went to 10 pages for a minute. Just 10 pages a day, 1 page a day, whatever it is, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. Whatever works best for you, just start. Because I'm telling you, when you read it for yourself, you start to see things that other people don't see in the summaries because you're looking out for things that are tailored specifically for you. And so, yes, summaries are good. Yes, summaries are great. Yes, summaries save you time, but they may completely go over something that you really need in your life right now. And that could bring you more value than that whole summary could have. So, I strongly advise you to do your best to actually get the books, get the physical books, and read them, or get a Kindle, get an iPad, and read the PDFs. But start reading some books because you'll definitely recognize stuff that you don't really recognize in videos or in summaries. First book I have for you, Principles by Ray Dalio. Now, this isn't specifically and only a finance book. This is principles for life, but I believe life principles apply to financial principles. So I'm gonna just give y'all 5 principles that I got from the book, and continue pushing. We're not gonna do a whole summary, but I do want to give y'all these key principles. If y'all resonate with some of them or you resonate with all of them, then definitely go get the book, check it out. I don't have any affiliate links, nothing like that. Just This is just me giving y'all game for real. Effectively making decisions. Right? You want to be able to effectively make decisions. You want to be able to get all the information you can about the decision. You want to write down all that information, write down the pros, write down the cons, get other opinions before you just go out and make a decision. And this book obviously goes a lot more in depth into all these 5 key principles, but I just want to keep it short and sweet. Next, be radically open-minded. I preach on this all the time. You want to be open-minded. You don't want to be closed-minded and not accept advice from others, whether you're the smartest person in the room or the dumbest person in the room or just average. You always want to take advice. You always want to be open-minded to advice from other people, right? Now, I'm not saying take the advice and apply every single piece of advice you get from anybody, but I'm saying be open-minded. Like, be willing to listen, see what they have to say, see how that correlates or interferes with what you believe, and, from there, make a decision to, okay, I'll think about using it, or I think that's a bad idea and I won't use it. It's completely up to you, but be radically open-minded. Not just a little bit, not kind of, but be radically open-minded, because you never know. Because maybe an idea is not good, but that idea can lead to another idea. That's why conversations are so powerful. That's why when me and my guest, my old host, was always conversating late at night, like, so many ideas came to my head that I would have never thought would have came to my head. But it was only because of that energy, that synergy of us just going back and forth, And it's like, oh, we can do that. Oh, or we can do that. Or we can do that and that. And so it's just like ideas can lead to greater and better ideas. But that just comes from meeting with people who are where you're at or higher than where you're at, or even low, even, below you. And y'all just having intelligent conversations and productive conversations and just feeding off that energy. And you'd be very surprised at what y'all come up with. Next, embrace reality and deal with it. Embrace reality and deal with it. Yes, financial troubles might come. Yes, you might need, you will need an emergency fund because an emergency is going to happen. Yes, things are going to happen in life. Yes, things aren't going to go your way. Yes, things are going to be great. And you think everything's fine and dandy and you don't got to worry about a thing. But then, boom, tragedy strikes. Boom, the winter season comes. Boom, you going paycheck to paycheck. You need to be prepared. You need to accept reality for what it is. So, I mean, I can take this 1,000 different ways, but just truly sit down, truly take a second, get off social media, get off after this podcast, like sit down and understand what your situation is for what it is. Don't try to cover it up. Don't say, "Oh, it'll get better later." Yeah, eventually it will get better. Eventually it'll stop raining. Eventually it'll become summer. Eventually everything will come to pass. But what are you doing right now while you're going through the tough season? What are you doing right now while things are going great, right? Like, you know how many animals work during the summer to prepare for the winter? Like, I don't understand why we don't take that same approach with life. Like, when things are going great, we should be doing the same thing. When things are going great, okay, things are going great. I'm grateful, praise God, but let me prepare for when things go bad. For real. Like, good times aren't always gonna last. Bad times will come, and then more good times, and then bad times, and then good times. So prepare for the bad times. Right? I don't want to stay on these too long, but maybe I'll just do another episode just on this book alone because this book go crazy. 5-step process to get what you want out of life. In life, set clear, audacious goals. Set clear, audacious goals. Don't say, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be financially free. I want a house. What type of house? Where is this house located? Is it a 2-story or is it a 1-story house? Like, you got to be very specific about when do you want this house? Like, you have to be very specific about your goals. That way you can order your steps into attaining that goal. If you're just like, I want a house, okay, there's houses built by robots for $20,000. You can get a house by the end of the year. Like, or do you want a mansion, multi-million dollar house? All right, that's gonna take a little bit longer. That's gonna take a little bit more effort. You have to determine what your goals are and make sure they're clear. Right? That's the first step. Second step, don't tolerate problems. So you set your goal, you made it clear. All right, what problems are we going to run into? What problems have we run into? Are we going to keep dealing with the same problems? Are we going to figure them out and fix them? You should always want to fix the problem. Fix the problem because it's just going to keep coming back. I've said this quote like 2 or 3 times on this podcast already. But pain only leaves once it's done teaching you something. Until then, you're going to keep experiencing the same pain. It may be in a different season. It may be in a different way. It may be from a different person. But you're going to keep experiencing the same pain until you first identify it, realize where it's coming from, and learn how to act accordingly once it comes to you. Before it even comes to you, you should know the signs of when that pain's about to come and be able to nip it in the bud before that. Don't tolerate problems. Diagnose the root cause. There you go. I'm skipping over. Diagnose the root cause. So you know you got a problem, and you know the problem's consistently showing up. All right, what's the cause? What's causing that problem? What's what's leading up to that problem? Now you're thinking. Now you're working. Now you're putting in effort. Figure out what the root cause of that problem is. Now we can get to the next step and start fixing that problem. What's that? Third? No, fourth. Design a plan before you act. So don't just, oh, I figured out the problem. Know what I'm gonna do. Go. Nah, don't do that. Design a plan. You designed a plan for your goal. You made it clear. Don't stop there. Design a plan for how you're going to deal with the problem now. Write it down. Make it clear. This is how I'm going to solve this problem. Hey, how do you think I should solve this problem? Go ask other people that have been in the same situation. How did y'all solve this problem? Get advice from other people as well, right? And then execute to completion. Don't execute, stop halfway, think it's not working, and then try something else. Or just deal with the problem, even worse. Execute to completion, right? So execute that plan you had on the problem until that problem's gone. Execute on that, full plan of getting to your goal until you get there, right? It's just going to be a cycle over and over and over until you achieve that goal. New levels is new devils. So once you get over that first hurdle, here comes the next one. Here comes the next one. And now you got to do the plan all over again. Don't tolerate problems. All right, here's the next hurdle. Let's diagnose the root causes of the hurdle. Let's design a plan to act. Let's execute on that plan, the plan to get rid of the problem until the problem's gone. Cool. Next hurdle. And you just keep doing that over and over and over until you get to that end goal. And even then, you still gonna have problems. You're gonna have different types of problems. You're gonna have more expensive problems. But you're still gonna have problems. But throughout that process, and that's why people say enjoy the journey. And that's what I'm learning more and more as I'm doing this podcast, is I have problems every day. Every day when it comes to this podcast. But I'm enjoying the problem. Like, I'm an engineer. That's all I do is solve problems all day. That's literally it. And so it's like, okay, if I can solve these hard computer 1,000 component machines, if I could solve those type of problems, why can't I solve how to put up a thumbnail on YouTube? Like, why can't I figure out how to record audio and video and match them together and make it sound like one clip? Like, if I could do all that as an engineer, there is no reason whatsoever I can't figure this out. And any problem that comes up with it, there's no excuse. Now, I'm not saying you got to be an engineer or you got to be an engineer to be able to solve. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm taking the talents that God has given me and I'm applying it to there's gonna be problems everywhere. So it's good that I chose a field that will exercise my problem solving skills every single day. Not a day goes by when I enter those doors of work where I'm not trying to solve a problem, where I'm not challenged to solve a problem. And that's what I love about engineering, fam. is I'm not doing boring work. Is work boring sometimes? Yeah, especially when I can't figure out a problem. It's boring and frustrating. But there's never a day where I'm not struggling to solve a problem and really work on, okay, I tried this way, I tried that way. What's another way I can try? Who can I go to figure out this problem? So, I mean, do your best to do that every single day. If you don't work a job where you're naturally trying to solve problems all the time, or you just entering numbers or doing whatever you're doing where it's just very repetitive, try to implement that into your life daily. That way, when problems do arise, that way, when real problems, and big problems do arise in your life, now you have that muscle trained to be able to figure out how to solve that problem. So that's my little rant. I'm getting so off topic. Plan plus reflection equals, I said plan. Pain plus reflection equals progress. Pain plus reflection equals progress. That's exactly what I said. Pain doesn't leave until it's done teaching you something. Don't be hard headed. Because it's going to come back. It's not going nowhere. So you might as well suck it up. What's the other one? Embrace reality and deal with it and solve that problem, right? Get over that pain. Reflect over that pain and then push through, right? So, fam, if you want to make progress, everything you like, I write down everything. Like, I do my best. I'm not going to say everything. I do my best to write down everything I can when it comes to problem solving, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's with this podcast. I do my best to write that down. That way, when the situation pops up again, I already know what to do. I've already been there before. I already wrote it down, so I can forget, but I already have it written down, so I know what to do. Reflect on your pains of life. Don't just sit in it. Don't just mope about it, but reflect on it. Figure out what you could have done better, and then move forward. All right, that's enough on that's that's enough on principles, y'all. We Oh yeah, we deep into this. So let's get through these next two books, and then we're gonna end the episode there. Pay Yourself First by Jesse B. Brown. Right? Here it is, right here. Now the problem with this book, the only problem with this book is it's old, like 1997 old. So it's an older book, but it's one of the books I stole from my parents' little shipping boxes, and they just had a whole bunch of books in it, and it said pay yourself first. I was like, I want to know how to pay myself first. And so I picked this book up. It intrigued me, and so I read it, and very easy read. Super duper easy read for people just getting started when it comes to financial literacy. It talks about getting out of debt, right? It talks about making money, it talks about saving money, and it talks about investing money. It has worksheets at the back. It has quizzes through every single chapter. A lot of books don't have that, and a lot of books should have that, because it's not enough to just speed read through a book. I really don't like that speed reading stuff. It's like, okay, I read 5-10 books in a month or a year, and you only got one thing from those books. Like, fam, why would you spend all that time reading, whether it's an hour because you're a speed reader, or whether it's 3-4 hours because you're a slow reader? Why would you spend all that time reading and not fully understanding the information? Now, no, I don't want you to take in every last bit from every last page and make a whole essay out of the whole. No, that's not the point. But you should be taking one thing from every chapter, or 2 or 3 things from the entire book, and then applying those things. Don't just read it. Okay, that was a great book. Okay, I need to save, invest, and start a 401k and do this, and I'll be good. All right. And then you don't do it. Like that, what was the point of reading the book? You could have watched a 10-minute YouTube video for that. Like, so don't waste your time when it comes to reading. Yes, you're learning. Yes, you're training your brain to read. Yes, that's great, but be very intentional with your reading. So with Pay Yourself First, they do have those quizzes to be able to, test you on if you really understood the information, chapter to chapter. So I really enjoyed that part of the book. And then they have a whole bunch of other stuff. So Pay Yourself First, great book. Check it out. They also talk about taxes, investment accounts, and then they have a glossary of financial terms, right? And so at the very end of the book, so that's even a great, little refresher on finance terms at the very end of the book. And so I think it's a great starter book for people just getting into finance. They want to know the basics. Like I said, it's outdated. So the stuff about tax and the stuff about 401ks and the stuff about all that probably won't be very accurate. It won't, I mean, it'll be accurate in the sense of what it is and how they generally work, but it won't be accurate in, okay, how much can I invest in this 401k account, or what is my tax bracket, and all that stuff. Like the very specifics, they're going to be way off because it's over 20 years old. So keep that in mind if you do pick up the book. the the very specifics are going to be outdated, but the general ideas won't be. All right. And then the last book I got for y'all is From Trash Man to Cash Man. Now this book is still an easy read, but it's more for people that want to go from poverty all the way to millionaire status and beyond that. So this is what this book is for. The best thing and the reason why I have this book in my hand and looking at the book and not looking at y'all is because it has an asset protection house. And so what he talks about and what made it very, because I'm a visual learner, and so it just made it make a lot more sense. And so he talks about how, and I'll try to post a picture of this on the video so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But basically, he has the job income going straight into the income window. So there's 4 windows of this house. You got the income window, you have the IPA window, you have the WRL window, and then you have the outgo window. Income window. This is money coming into the house. This is income. IPA, you have income producing assets. That's the window for income producing assets. WRL, this is the wealth reducing liabilities, right? And then you have the outgo window. This is the money going out mainly for bills and stuff like that. So when it comes to poor people, what do poor people do? Poor people got a job. It goes straight to the income window, skips the IPA window as well as the WRL window. They're not at the point to where they can have, all these wealth reducing liabilities or income producing assets. They're not at that point yet, and they're not of that mindset yet. They're literally living paycheck to paycheck. Every time a paycheck comes in, it goes directly to their bills, right? Outgo window include taxes, rent, utilities, food, clothes, children, and auto, right? So it's immediately going out the window, right? Or straight out the house. And then, like, okay, you got a little bit of money. Now you're in the middle class. Oop, hold on, I skipped it. There we go. Now you're in middle class. You got a little bit more money. You go from the job money goes into the income window, goes straight down to the wealth reducing liabilities, which include cars, boats / campers, credit cards, revolving charges, or revolving revolving debt, charges, and student loans, right? So it's like, okay, you got a little bit more money. Okay, you went to college. Okay, you got a nicer car. Okay, you got a boat for the weekends. Okay, you got a camper to travel every once in a while. You got some credit cards. But that money is going straight from your paycheck to all these liabilities, not making you any money. Then you pay your taxes, rent, utilities, foods, clothes, children, and auto. And then all that money's out the house. So you took a step up. You're doing a little bit better in life. But most of these people are still living paycheck to paycheck, right? And then the last one, this is really what inspired me, was the last house. This is the financial house of the rich in the beginning. So you got a job, that money coming in, you're putting that money towards IPA assets, income producing assets. So you're putting that money into the assets. You're also using that money for wealth reducing liabilities. You still got some cars, you still got the boat, you still got all these other stuff that's not producing you income, but you have the right to enjoy that. You worked hard. You're still putting money into the produce income producing assets, but you still want to have fun. You still want to drive a nice car. Nothing wrong with that. So now you have money coming in. The income window is now, that money is now being dispersed between income producing assets, wealth reducing liabilities, and then the outgo window, which is the taxes and all that good stuff. So good. You're making even more money. All right, what's the last stage? Financial house of the rich over time. So money coming in, right? So the income window is still going out to the income producing assets, but now over time, those assets are producing income. So now that money is going right back into the income producing, or right back into the income window. So now you got money going both ways between those windows, right? And so now your job made your money. You put that money into some assets. Now those assets are making you money. And now those assets are paying for the nice car. They're paying for the nice boat. They're paying for the nice camper. They're paying for the nice house, right? They're paying for all these great things. They're paying for your rent. They're paying for your taxes. They're paying for your utilities. They're paying for Roots, Chris. They're paying for whatever, right? They're paying for the Rolex. Now these assets are getting you the things you want, and then they go out the window, right? So understand, like, once I saw this, like, I don't know what it was. I think, like I said, I'm a visual learner, so once I saw this, I was like, okay, I'm all in on this finance stuff. I really need to figure this one out, and I'm really inspired to show other people as I'm along my journey how to figure this out as well. And since I'm along my journey, I'm gonna bring on some experts that are already there, that are already where I want to be, that are already where you want to be. You're gonna get them on so they can tell both of us how we gonna get there. You feel me? So those are the books. This episode was long, fam. This was supposed to be a this episode was supposed to be 15-20 minutes, but this was a longer episode, very much longer than I anticipated. But I hope it was jam-packed with information. I hope it was jam-packed with knowledge. I hope you take this information, I hope you take these nuggets, you run with them, you apply at least 2 to 3 things. I hope you took notes. Take 1 or 2 notes, right? I don't care. Rewind. Do what you got to do. But take 1 or 2 things from this episode, apply it, whether it's going on YouTube, whether it's getting these books, and apply the information. That's all I ask y'all to do. That's it. If you're getting value, down in the description, there'll be a way for you to donate $1, $5, or $10 a month. Give the brother, help a brother out special. And with that, y'all take it easy. Peace.